This is my son 2000 Dorado Cadillac with a NorthStar engine. He had some serious oil leaks and he had a skip. So I said, well, let's see about changing the plugs in this thing. And upon changing the plugs, I found out that he needed a valve covers. So if your car has a NorthStar 32 valve engine in it, like this one, with the coil pack right here, there's a gray one in the front and there's a black one in the back there, then I'm going to tell you what problems and what things I use to change the valve covers. And then later on I had to deal with the skip, which turned out to be a coil pack. It was damaged, cracked, and that was causing the skip, but now it runs okay. I'm not a mechanic really by trade, but I just spent a little time on these old cars because most garages don't want to waste time on older vehicles. So let's get at it. Okay, I kind of deleted a video clip, so I'm trying to piece this in. You need to disconnect the negative part of your battery first thing to keep the electrical power off of the circuit there. After you take the cover off here and take this hose off, this water hose off, then you're going to have to take these fans. You're going to have to undo these top bolts to the fan here and see, can you move it over to the side. You might be able to take one of them out. If you take one of them out, more likely you're definitely going to have to unhook the connector wire down here in there, and make sure you connect it back and when you finish the job there. After you take the coil pack off right here, take these bolts off right here, take it off, leave the plugs in there. After you pull the little rubber boots off, don't take the plugs out. You need to keep the whole plug in the hole so nothing would accidentally drop down in there and on top of your cylinder there. This is one thing I found out you had to do right here. This oil stick, the oil stick tube, it's got a bolt that's under this right here that holds the tube right here, not the stick. Take the stick out, but you're gonna need to loosen that bolt so you can move this tube, because this tube right here is right against the valve cover, and you need all the space you can get. Be careful when you undo the fan. If you can pull one of them out, it'd be nice. But especially this one over here. You need this one right here is a little closer than this one right here. If you could, after you undo it and it can come out, but it's not that easy. But if you can get it out, pull it up, because it's just sitting in a slot down at the bottom there. This valve cover here, when you after you undo the bolts, and after you take this top off right here, it's got two bolts holding it, take it off. When you get ready to take the bolts off, it's got screws that's under here, about 8 of them. And after you get all this off, this valve cover has to come up on the back side over here where the oil filler is, cup right here is. It's got to come up at an angle, and you got to slide it this way towards this way to get it off the camshaft right here. It's a little difficult, but if you can work it, don't get too rough with it. You'll have to turn it a little bit and work it to get it out. Be mindful that when you get ready to go back in with it, it is that you don't want to get too rough, because you got to use a reverse procedure in putting it back in, and you don't want to knock your O-rings off. Okay, one of the first things you're going to have to do is to undo the water hose. You're going to lose a little bit of antifreeze, about 1 quart. Put something under the car so you can catch it, because you don't really want the animals or nothing drinking it. I put something in this hole right there, and I undone this motor stabilizer. I just undone it and flipped it up, had to get it out the way. It's had 3 bolts in it, wasn't hard at all. Flipped it up, just push it back out of the way so you can get the stuff under there. You see that the water pump belt, the little V belt right there, and that's on the timing chain. That valve cover has a hole to go all the way through it. Now I took the little cover off right there that what hides the V belt. Little old multi V belt under there. It's got two bolts holding that bracket there. So just go ahead and take that off. And then I came on the other side there. Now this is something you're going to have to take a loose right here. These wires is right tight around the side of all the valve cover pan there. Tools. These are what you use to pull that little plastic gear off. It's a Cadillac. It's kind of a special tool that you use just for Cadillacs to pull that little gear off the end of the timing cam there. It slips on like that, and you just screw it in there and it pops it right off. It's a little pressure. It's plastic on the outside, but it's steel right there where to pull off. And that's the other piece right there is what you use to push it back on there. You see this gear, it goes right over here, and when you get ready to put it back on there, you start it right there and stick the little screw in there and tighten it up, and it'll go on there. But you do that after you have already pulled it, everything, the pan on and everything. Okay? Okay, right here, after you have flipped this supporter over and everything and fixed the water hose there. Incidentally, those plugs, they set on 55 or 65,000 when you get ready to set the plugs in there. Under here, it's over to the other side. It's got another, since it's a dual overhead cam there, it's got a timing chain over there on that side. In the center there, that little square hole right there, that's for a 3/8 quarter drive rather, and you can use it to tighten it off, to loosen the belt. Just stick it in there and flip it over. You have to take the mass air filter off. All that stuff on the side, you got to take it off. Back on this side there, it's got a power steering hose going down there. It's on the passenger side. It's right there. You're gonna have to unloosen the support that keeps that tight. You're gonna have to loosen it. You don't have to just take the bolt out of it so you can move it, because you're gonna need that extra space to get the valve cover pan out and in there. Then just be careful not to drop anything. You can see these are where the O-ring goes, and this is right around the side here is where I had to clean it right good, where the new gasket is going to have to go. It clips on. This right here is the set that it comes. It's about $86. You get 2 gaskets and the O-rings, and you get the little seal that goes around the camshaft on the front one there. You get both of them there. And this is the spark plug boots. You get them, they're about $33, and you also get I brought the spark plugs. They were $42. The total thing was about $170 some. Okay. And take the real valve cover off too, because I didn't want to half do the job. I had 8 new plugs. I'm going to show you some of the things that I had to take off. I done partially got this thing already pre-assembled back. First thing I had to do was unhook the negative to my battery, of course. And I kind of recommend that you just do one valve cover at a time. Take a break, then maybe start on the other. It's a lot of things to take a loose. I'll take away this stabilizer. I guess you would call it the strutter stabilizer. I undone it, took it loose, move it out the way. And then I took the coil pack. It's located right behind here. I done undone it. It's over here. I want to show you some things on here before I show you the tools that I had to use to get this thing off. I had to undo, you know, this is the PC valve. You pull that out, just move it back a little bit. I had to unhook this is the coil pack wire. Unhook it naturally. You're going to have to undo the coil pack because it's the wires right here. Plus it makes it a little easier to mobile around. You know, it's got the little old oxygen sensor that goes down on the header pipe there. Moved it out the way, laid it back. The bolt that I noticed that was the hardest to get out was the one that's farther over here next to the air conditioner line. It's way down at the bottom. I would call it the passenger side lower valve cover. You have to dance with it. There's no shortcut. These old wires right here that goes around behind it, in between here, you're gonna have to pull them out of the way. They're a little tight fit. Don't get too rough with them. Pull them out the way. I had to undo my injectors that's connected to my little fuel injectors. Move them out the way so I can move the harness. It's got a little trick to it. If you can pull this little gray piece up, then you can squeeze it at the top here, and then it'll slip out. You got 4 of them to undo. Let me show you on the other side what problems I had to work with. Okay. On this other side here, that's ought to be on the driver's side. You're going to find that there is a motor mount. Well, not a motor mount. I guess you'll call it a motor extractor, what they use to hook it to the motor to pull it out. And that's this thing right here. Now, what I have done, I found out that if you take a vice grip like that, I mean a adjustment wrench, tighten it on that little old unit there. Let me see, can I zero it in? There it is. It's a little clearer there. And then I just pull it, bend it a little bit over towards the brake reserve. You got to be careful. Don't let it slip or nothing, because you might damage your brake reserve. And that gave me enough room so that I could get this one screw it's in the middle of the pan, and it's right down in there where I can slip a number 10 millimeter down in there to get that. I had to remove this cover here around this smog detector. I just had to undo it because it's right up against the pan there. And let's see, that's probably about it. The bolts that right around the pan there, they're going to be a little difficult, but you can get it. It's a slow drag, but you can get it. Let me show you some of the things I used that I found that I had to use over here. Let's land on the ground. Okay. Of course, naturally, this is my 3/8 drive socket. I found out that this right here works better when you get back in that back firewall there. This has got a universal on it. It's a 10 millimeter. So like a 10 millimeter fit about everything is on here. And this is just a deep well 10 millimeter. And it does all right in other places, but you're just about gonna have to use this little short with the universal on there to get that back down in there near the firewall. I got a little hose here. This is something I just have myself there, and it's got an earth magnet wedged in one end of it, and it's open in the other end. It's very helpful because you're gonna drop stuff. Don't mean to. It's greasy, and you're gonna have to get it without letting it go all the way down somewhere where it shouldn't. When I got to the back one there, this is one of the rubber, they call it the spark plug wire. It's got a wire inside here that when you buy a new one, you push the new wire down in there, and it'll lock in position. I had to have a little flashlight, a good LD flashlight, because you're going to have dark spots in there. This right here is a little spring attacher. You can see it's got a little fingers on the end that open and closes. You're going to need that because you're going to drop stuff and you're going to have to reach down in there to get it. This is the coil pack. That's what I took off first. It's got where your coil wires, where your spark plug wires hook. This is more of a ground. You got to leave that little spring in there. Don't try to take it out there. And let's see. Oh yeah, let me show you something else before I show you the last ingredient, the most important. When you take things off, be very careful over on the passenger side. After you take the valve cover off there, see this little funny hump here? This represents the timing chain. Make sure that you don't have bolts and things laid up here that could fall down in here, because it goes all the way down into the oil pan. It'd be hard to retrieve. So it's better that you didn't have nothing that would fall down in there when you're working or when you're not working there. Just move it off. When you take these bolts loose right here on the oil pan, make sure that, well, if you can, these right here, make sure you take them all the way out, because they could drop down in there when you're trying to maneuver the oil pan. I mean, there's the valve cover off. It'll go down into the oil pan. Let's see. That's probably about it. The rest of the stuff you should be able to work if you got a little mechanical skills there. It's kind of difficult. It's not as difficult as the front. You don't have to have no real special tools. You just got to have a lot of patience. I don't play music when I'm doing this because I need to think sometime. I suggest to you to just relax and do a little bit and stop and be very patient on that thing. Somebody's driving fast. This is what I use to kind of, before I even start, I use this instrument right here. I go ahead and I talk to the Lord about it there and everything. And I'll try to do the best I can. So maybe this has helped some people who's just an ordinary mechanic, part mechanic.